Yo, MrJamble here in PoE1, and this is my 1000 plus divine Smite Trickster. Let's go over it. What you can do for Trickster is have multiple different ways of using skills. For instance, I'm using Smite of Divine Judgment. You can also use regular Smite or literally any other melee skill that you want. You can even do caster skills. You can do whatever you want with this build pretty much. And then all you have to do is tweak out your weapon and then you can literally change to whatever. So let's go right to what I'm running. So this is how we're gonna do it. We first go over the skills, then the gear, then the passive tree, then the Ascendancy, and at the very end we're gonna talk fully about our Mercenary. So let's get right into it. We start off with our main skill, Smite Divine Judgment. Normal Smite is better for his bosses, but Judgment is better for clearing. And just overall, we're always using this. We don't really use the normal Smite. Multi-strike support, which makes it so we do multiple times the Divine Judgment, so we do more damage. Then we have Awakened Elemental Damage with attack support. At level 5, this gets an extra modifier. Elemental damage from supported skills cannot be reflected. We're only doing lightning damage, so we're reflect immune. We don't do physical, so we can also run physical reflect maps. Energy leech support. This makes it so we do more damage while we're leeching. We're always leeching energy shield. And as you can read, this will also make it so part of our damage get leeched to our energy shield. This is one of our defenses, and later we go over the other energy leech and support explanation. So next up, volatility support. This basically creates a ceiling and then increase it higher. So what it means that with lightning damage it always goes from a low point to a high point. This makes it so we always have like a high point and it rolls twice that we hit. And then you ask, but how are we hitting twice? So on our Mercenary we have Perkle's Toe. What does Perkle's Toe do? As lightning damage of enemies hit by you is lucky, but the nearby allies damage with hit is lucky. The hits by lucky means that, let's say the ceiling is 1 to 10,000 and I hit a 2,000. This Perkle's Toe will make it so it rolls twice. So let's say the second roll is then 6,000. Then it will only consume the 6,000 and it forgets 2,000. And that's how lucky works. So you can then hit the most out of 2 tries of a single attack, and that's the damage you deal. It's very difficult, but that's how it works. And then finally, damage on full life support. We're running Chaos Inoculation, so we're always at max life. So we have permanent damage increase. This gives 45% of damage increase permanently. And that is our body armor. Let's go to the next. On our helmet we're running Enlighten with Tempest Shield. What Tempest Shield does is increases our chance to block spell damage. We have currently 46% chance to block attack damage, which is like physical. And now we also have spell block, which is really nice because we have no spell suppression on this build. We don't need spell suppression just because we have the spell block. This is like enough defense, believe me. We're running a Discipline, which gives us flat energy shield. The recharge of ES does not work on us because we're leeching the whole time. We're leeching energy shield, and we're getting also energy shield back on block, but I'll go over that in a moment. And we have Purity of Elements, which makes us immune to all the ailments. So let's say Shock, which can increases all elemental damage. We're immune to that, which is like really good. And that's why we're using Purity of Elements. It's really rough to get like element immunity on your build without this, because we are really stat dependent. So let's go further. Okay, as a weapon we're using the Ephemeral Edge. What this weapon does is it reduces your maximum life, does not affect us. It increases your maximum energy shield, which makes it so we have more energy shield. And then it turns our maximum energy shield 15% of that in flat lightning damage. So let's say I have 10,000 energy shield. 1,500 of that will be turned to raw lightning damage flat, which is really good before you're running Energy Blade. Energy Blade is like way more end game, and it basically turns your weapon into this Energy Blade. It's a skill. And this is actually better than the Ephemeral Edge, but the only problem is like let's say you have attacks cannot be avoided on your ephemeral edge. That does not affect the energy blade. So once you swap to energy blade, what you also need is accuracy. And otherwise you can literally not hit your energy blade, pretty much. We're running a Lapis amulet, which is basically for stat stacking. We're stacking int because we don't have a simplex amulet in this build right now. And a simplex amulet would be an upgrade, but this build can already beat all the content in the game. So unless you're like deep delving, there's not really a point in getting a simplex amulet. You can craft this amulet for like around 100-ish divines, and you basically get damage per 15 int. You get maximum attributes, and you also get percentage int. We're sitting at 1800 int, so this is giving us a lot of int. Look, 1800, 1200. We're getting like 600 int from a single amulet, which is like really crazy. For the rings, it's all gonna be stats and the resistance that you need the most. What I did is all attributes with int, and rarity is well pretty nice because I duplicate this ring with Calandra Starch. So you basically only need one helical ring. This is not the best roll, obviously. You can go higher, you can go beyond, you can mirror this thing and get it even higher. But you don't really need that. This is literally all you need to beat the whole fucking game. With Calandra Starch, which then duplicate this ring, and so you practically have, look how much stats I get, okay? 1800 int, 1400. I get 400 int from a single ring. So that is like totally crazy. And now we just turn this back in and GG's. We're using our weapon Poach's Mark together with Mark on hit support and Inspiration. Poach's Mark is the way we generate frenzy charges by hitting the enemy. Each time you hit an enemy, there's a percentage chance that you get a frenzy charge, and it will just stack up to the maximum, which is pretty damn nice. On our shield, we're running Seal Charge. We're using Second Wind, which gives us another Flame Dash charge. This is really nice to traverse terrain. It's really nice for some boss mechanics to have Flame Dash. But in most cases, we're just using Shield Charge to traverse maps and stuff. On our shoes, we're using Immortal Call with cast when damage taken support. This will make it so the Immortal Call is up the whole time, which makes it so we take less physical damage by 26% and 26% less elemental damage taken. 15% of physical damage taken per endurance charge removed. We don't use endurance charge for this build right now, but the 26% less damage taken is really valuable, and this is up the whole time. We're also using Energy Blade, and we're using Enhance. What Enhance does is it increases the quality of the Energy Blade, giving us, if you can read the stat below, additional effect from quality. It gives us another 6% more energy shield back, practically. Because what the Energy Blade does is it takes a percentage from our ES and then turns it to raw fucking damage. So if I turn off my Energy Blade, I have 22,000 energy shield. But without it, I have only 12,000. But it gives us so much more damage to have that on. On our gloss, we're using some utility. We're using Empower with Summon Stone Golem, with Meat Shield and Minion Life. We're mainly using Stone Golem during mapping. It gives us 20% more defenses. So it gives us more energy shield, it gives us more armor and evasion. Which is like really nice actually if you think about it. And you can also increase that effect by having quality on it. So what you can do is you can also use an enhance on this. But this is actually all enough. It's not really like dying anymore anyway. So it's like a really nice like addition to the build, I would say. And now let's go over like the armor itself and the stats and what you really look for on like let's say body armor, shoes, gloves and shield. On the body armor, the most important stat is the 6% increased attribute. You can also have intelligence on it flat, and after that comes the energy shield and evasion. We're scaling our energy shield off evasion and energy shield on the body armor. Our body armor gives us the biggest source of energy shield. This single body armor gives us over 6,000 energy shield in total. So let's actually take it off. So right now I have 22,000 energy shield. If I remove this body armor, it goes to 13,000. It's actually giving more than I think. It just literally gives me 9,000 energy shield. It's like insanity. Also, what you can do is on the top stat, physical damage taken scales damage. This practically erases 10% of all the physical damage taken because we're running Chaos Inoculation. So that 10% physical damage get erased from existence. So that is like really, really nice. On our shoes, the only thing that matters is energy shield and then int. A resistance can be added, doesn't really matter. This is a really easily crafted shoes. Like, I literally didn't even try. I just threw in like int essence and that's about it. For our gloves, we're looking for int and energy shield. Everything else is bonus. You can have increased damage while leeching. You're always leeching, so we have permanent 42% increased damage bonus. The attack speed is not super important. It's mostly like the intelligence and the energy shield, and then increased damage while leeching. On our shield, the most important thing is the stat on the bottom called recover 5% energy shield when you block. We're blocking a lot, so each time we block we get 5% of our energy shield back. If I have 10,000 energy shield and I block a hit, I gain back 500 energy shield. We're taking less damage than we block. So they keep on like attacking us, and each damage they deal get instantly regenerated back to us with our block, which is like really nice. And also really high energy shield, 395 with int. So that is like cracked as hell. Let's go over the Mage Blood. This item is single-handedly holding our whole build together. It gives us one of the highest defenses, it increases our speed as much as possible, and this thing is literally carrying the shit out of us. So let's get over it how I'm using it. I'm using it to maximize my maximum resistance. My lightning resistance specifically. Then I'm also using an all elemental resistance flask. What this does is it makes us so we have more leniency with our gearing. So we have to care less about, oh, I need a resistance on this piece of gear, or I need a resistance on this piece of gear, otherwise it wouldn't work. This will cover everything. So let's get right over why I maximize my lightning resistance. We're maxing our lightning resistance because of melting of the flash. What this does is it is minus 73 of all our ally resistance. It also decreases our max resistance by 4, but the bottom modifier is the most important. Elemental resistance are capped by your highest maximum elemental resistance. So let's say I have 75 all resistance, but I make my lightning resistance 90%. So my lightning resistance is 90% and the other ones are 75. Normally you would only have only your lightning resistance 90 then. But what this does is it looks at the 90% and it turns the other two resistance also into 90%. So that is why this jewel is fucking cracked. If you have a Mage Blood, it makes it so you can easily get 90% all resistances. What I do then is I increase my movement speed, obviously. But I also have all elemental resistance at the bottom. So what it does is it gives us 35% of all resistance on top of this. So we even have more resistances from that, which is cracked. And then Onslaught. Onslaught, I added evasion rating. We have 40,000 evasion rating, but we don't have any armor. We're dodging a lot, we're blocking a lot. That's our defense. We don't need any armor. So what I do then is Onslaught also gives us damage bonus, it gives us attack speed bonus, it gives us movement speed bonus, and the movement speed bonus will then work hand in hand with our Quicksilver Flask, which is like really, really good. And then we finish it up. This is not affected by the Mage Blood. We're using a Tincture. This increases our elemental damage by 138%. It increases our attack speed by 38%, which is affected by the increased effect, which is like huge, huge, huge damage for single target. This thing makes it so we can like kill Crystal Kings at depth 1000 of Delve, practically. All because of this one tincture. It's really, really good. So now we went over all the gearing, but let's get over the passive tree now. The passive tree is really big, so this is gonna take a while to explain. As a trickster, you're starting on the right side of the tree. So that makes it so we can easily get to the Chaos Inoculation, which is like a couple nodes away from us. So it's really nice to also stack Energy Shield from this side of the tree. So let's get right to what I did. I took Trickery here, which increases our damage by 20% and gives us Int. Let's go over our first jewel. We're using a Cobalt jewel here, which increases our attack speed. It increases our maximum energy shield and int. This is a really cracked jewel. This would be pretty much best in slot for all your Cobalt jewels, together with like the resistance ones. So let's say right here we got also lightning damage, ES, max lightning resistance. You want to get your maximum lightning resistance on Cobalt jewels. Here, another int and then max ES. Chance to block while holding a shield. The only things that matter are the middle two. Strength, int, ES. And let's go over the cluster. What do we do with this cluster? So we're running a lightning damage cluster. And we also have 3% attack and cast speed with lightning skills. We have increased cold rest, which is pretty nice. We have increased maximum energy shield, but the biggest part is the bottom line, which gives us 35% effect of all the above. So here it says 6 energy shield, but it gives us 8 instead. So that increased effect also affects the nodes itself. So each time we take one of those nodes, we get 16% more damage. We get 8 more energy shield, we get 5 more rest, 4% more attack speed, and this will stack up like a lot. Like the more you have, the more stats you will like have flat, and it will then maximize by having jewels with maximum ES. It will add up really quickly the more you have. Over here we have energy shield mastery. We have increased energy shield from your equipped helmet by 100%. So if you have like 400 energy shield on a helmet, now it's 800%. Also, increase energy shield and increase energy shield. It's like really nice. If we go down here, this is another layer for defense, Ghost Reaver. Leech energy shield instead of life. So if you take like leech for life nodes, it will then turn into your energy shield leech, which is really strong in defense. And you cannot recharge energy shields. So you have to have always leeching on. And this goes hand in hand with another one that we have here, Ghost Dance. Cannot recover energy shield above the evasion rating. We have less energy shield than evasion, so that node does not affect. Every 2 seconds gain a ghost shroud, up to maximum of 3. When you're hit, it will move one of the ghost shrouds, and then it gives you 3% of your evasion rating as energy shield. I have 40,000 evasion, so we're getting probably like 500-600 energy shield back each time we get hit, which is really going hand in hand with our leech. We're using Soul Thief. Recover energy shield on kill. So if we're killing enemies, we're getting energy shield back. If we're blocking enemies, we get energy shield back. If we're hitting enemies, then we're also leeching and we get energy shield back. You see what I'm doing? Multiple layers of getting your energy shield back, to then makes it so you basically out heal any damage taken. So you are practically kind of immortal because of that, which is like our main source of defense. Over here we're using Faux Prism, maximum and lightning resistance again, with int and max ES. If you go down here, this is what I was talking about. 5% of what you're leeching instantly gets back to you. So let's say I'm leeching 1000 energy shield, then we're getting 50 energy shield instantly back per hit, and we're hitting the whole time, so we just keep on getting energy shield back. And it goes also hand in hand with this. 1% attack damage leached as life instantly get turned to energy shield. So we get 1% more energy shield leech because of this. Now we go to the bottom here. We're using this cluster. 12% of increased damage with hits and ailments. It practically 12% damage increase. We're using a blood sand. Oh, we're using blood sand. We're using attributes, which is again damage increase. We're using fuel defied and martial prowess. The only thing you need is fuel defied. This increases again leech damage. So increase damage while leeching. You're leeching the whole time, 20%, practically more damage. You get attack speed. Over here you get rage. Rage makes it so we get more damage, more attack speed. The faster you are, the better. You know what I mean? And then we add Bound by Destiny. Bound by Destiny, each time you complete one of the requirements, it gives you what's written on it. So the top stat, use 2 Crusader items and gives you 15% intelligence. Our amulet is a Crusader item, so that is 1. And then our shoes is also a Crusader item. So you can see the icon on the left and the right top of the item, and that's the Crusader tag. So we get 15% more intelligence from this. You can have 2 times or 3 times on the Bound of Destiny increased intelligence. We only have it 1 time, and not gonna lie, if there was 2 or 3, I wouldn't even go for it. Let's be real here. It would be too much effort to craft that. And then on the bottom here we have a Watcher's Eye. What this Watcher's Eye does is it increases our spell block affected by discipline. You always have discipline on, so you get 8% extra chance to block spell damage. And each time we block spell damage, we get energy shield back. So that is really, really good. And of course, it also increases your max CS. So that's a bonus. Well, let's go down here. Over here, we're using Trail of Battle. And gain mana. This practically solves all our mana issues. You reduce mana cost. And reduce mana cost, it gives us more energy shield. And it also gives us mana reservation, so we can use more auras. Then it also has this note in the middle. Gain 2 mana per enemy hit with the attack. We have pretty big AoE, so we hit multiple enemies at the same time. So we're getting our mana back because of that. Over here we have a Light of Meaning with energy shield. That practically makes it so nodes in the range of this gives us also additional energy shield. This jewel is really, really expensive, so you don't really need this. You can also just go for like an ES jewel like the other ones. Over here, this fixes all our accuracy problems. Accuracy mastery. Gain accuracy rating equal to your intelligence. So we have a shit ton of intelligence, so that gets turned into accuracy, which then makes it so when we use our energy blade, that we can actually hit the enemy instead of missing all attacks. And it also just like get increased by the nodes on the side, by percentage increased global accuracy. So it stacks up pretty well, and this gives us like 3,000, 4,000 accuracy. Sometimes, like if you get more, like int, it will even go to like 6 or 8,000 accuracy, which is like overkill. But yeah, this fixes our accuracy problems. Okay, let's get to the node at the bottom here now. Of course, we have another lightning cluster over here. Increased lightning damage and increased stat. The stat gets multiplied by the increased effect, and we also get more attack speed. Attack speed is really, really good for this build. So each time I take one of those nodes, it gives me 5 int practically. It gives us 16% damage per node. So count this, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 int from just the mini nodes. And then it gives us another like 100% more damage or something like that. Like some stupid number. We're using split personality Crimson Jewels. This gives us a shit ton of int and a shit ton of energy shield. You can read it down the bottom. It gives us 40 int and 40 energy shield, but this is just flat. This is flat, so our percentage will then increase this even further. So if you can read it, like right here we have 1823 int. So I remove one. Now it's 1755. So we literally gain 70 plus int from just one of those, and we have 2 of them. And How this works is the further it's away from the start, like our start is here, we move all the way around, we go here, it goes all the way down. The further it's away, the more stats you get from them. So that's why we have it all the way at the bottom here. Again, there's another int node up here, another 30 int, which is like, oh, I can't even click it. Okay, here finally. Wisdom of Gil, another 30 int, which is huge. And then here, precise technique, 40% increase damage if your accuracy is higher than your max life. We are always above this. And we don't really do any crit damage right now because we're running anti-crit. So we have permanent 40% increased damage bonus. Now, let's go to the top of the tree, what we're running. Chaos Inoculation, don't really have to explain it. And over here, more attributes. 5% attributes, shit ton of int. Move further to the left. Again, int, lightning damage, max ES. Go further. 10% less damage taken when on full energy shield. We're always on full energy shield, so we take practically 10% less damage. Again, max lightning resistance over here. Max EX, max ES. It just goes further here. Over here we have Arcane Guardian. 10% chance to block spell damage while holding a shield. And it also increases our energy shield from our shield. So let's say I have 1000 energy shield on my shield, doesn't exist. You practically get 400 extra, 600 extra on top of that. So 60% of the energy shield from your equipped shield gets applied to you extra. And we have multiple of those nodes, like 2 of them. So it literally doubles the ES from your shield, which is like fucking crazy actually if I think about it. Over here, we have increased damage while holding a shield. You can use this or you can use the lightning, it's your own choice. Veteran Defender, attack speed, feed to fury, martial prowess. Over here we have again feed to fury, which is more attack damage leads as life, which is basically going straight to our ES. It gives us more attack speed, more damage. Over here again all stats. It gives us increased defense for a shield. So we practically, the percentage that we get from a shield is increased by 200% by now. So just think about it. You have 300 TS on the shield, now you get 900. And then we over here use again max lightning resistance. We want to stack up as much as we can. Int, ES, huge. And over here martial prowess. And increase our accuracy rating even further. And decrease our damage attack speed and damage with ailment hits. We're always shocking, so we always have ailments up. And that is the entire passive tree. Let's go over the Ascendancy next. For Ascendancy, we're running Polymath. This makes it so our life on kill goes practically to your ES. And we also have maximum energy shield when you kill an enemy. So this goes hand in hand with the other defense that we have. We're using Swift Killer. This gives us more frenzy charges. Again, that is just going straight by poacher mark. It goes even higher because of that. Then over here we have Escape Artist. This is how we get like a shit ton of ES from our body armor. The more evasion you have on your body armor, the more ES you get from your body armor. So that's how we get our 9000 energy shield from just our body armor. And then to finish it off, Soul Drinker. 2% of the damage that you deal get leached to you as energy shield. This is again another defensive leech. Again, more energy shield back. Again, is huge. And the energy shield leech effect are not removed when the energy shield is full. So the leech will always be up as long as you are able to leech, you know what I mean? So even if you stop attacking and a monster attacks you but you're not attacking them, because you were already leeching, it will then still continue healing your energy shield even when you're not even attacking. So that's how strong Soul Drinker is. And that is the build, man. 1000 plus divines. It's fucking crazy if I think about it. I took hundreds of hours making this build, but I hope you guys like watching this one. Let's go over my Mercenary. What does it do? Why is it so strong for this build? So let's go over it. We're running a Doriani's prototype. So what happens is that the resistance from your character that you have it weird on, so let's say your mercenary wears this, the lightning resistance of your mercenary will become the lightning resistance of all the enemies around you. So what we do is we have minus lightning resistance on both of our rings, and we have minus lightning resistance on our belt. This makes it so we have minus 200 lightning resistance on this, 203. But then the enemies around my mercenary also has minus 200 lightning resistance. This will 5x our damage pretty much, as long as our mercenary is around. And then you're wondering, but he has minus 200 lightning res. Isn't he gonna die by lightning damage? Well, no, it actually does survive pretty well. It has 1500 life regen, it has high resistance of the other types, it has high armor and high life. This mercenary never died on me, even once. Perk of Stow to make my hits lucky. So that is, it rolls basically twice the attack and I deal the maximum amount of the 2 attacks. Then I'm using Crown of the Tyrant. This gives me flat lightning damage. 16 to 144 gets added to my damage because he's nearby. That is really, really big. We're using a double freeze wand. Our mercenary basically freezes enemies whenever they get hit by the kinetic blasts, which is pretty OP. After that, full resistance gloves with high armor, just for survivability. And then shoes again, high resistance, high armor, some life, that's all you need. And then the Dawn Breaker. This basically converts the damage taken to fire damage. So read the middle line, 20% of lightning damage taken as fire damage. So then again, we take 20% less lightning damage on our mercenary and it goes to the other things. So this is like pretty big for survival and it just mitigates a lot of damage taken and it all goes to fire. So that is basically what our mercenary does. It basically boosts our damage, but on top of that it also gives us haste. So that's movement speed bonus, attack speed bonus, and that is like really, really nice. It also elemental weakness. So it also decreased boss resistance by another 35%. It cannot go below 200. So sometimes, like let's say I'm running different auras. Like sometimes I would wear like a purity of elements, and then the purity of elements will be given to my mercenary. So my mercenary would have like more resistance because of the purity of elements that I have, but that gets mitigated by the elemental weakness. So even if you have on your mercenary 180% minus res, the elemental weakness makes it so it's again minus 200. So that is basically how I set up my mercenary. It increased my damage by a shit ton.